social slime, they don't matter, genocide. Sick from water, sick from air, making money, they don't care. Caesar shit, force of air, fuck them back, it's only fun. They bomb, they shoot, they kill, they massacre, rape, they burn the kids. No one leaves countries, laugh to your face, fight and die, 'cause God forgives. Selling lies and buying time, killing people next in line. Lower class and social side, they don't matter, genocide. Sick from water, sick from air, making money, they don't care. See their shit, force a bear, fuck them back, that's only fair. They bomb, they shoot, they kill, they massacre, rape, they burn the kids. No one leaves countries, lie to your face, fight and die, 'cause God forgives. Yeah. Coming back around again.
Okay, welcome to the show. I'm your host, Ron Stevens. This is Game On right here on UCY.TV, 27th of March, 2016. And let's see where we're going here today. Let's see. I think that, what do we got here? We got a Skype thing going on here. What's going on? Jules. What is going on? I don't hear you. Well, why is that? Okay, let's see. That's odd. Let me see what we got cooking here. It says that I'm online. Am I online? There you are. Okay. We had a little bit of a delay. My computer kind of hung there when I was trying to get in here this morning, so I guess we had a little bit of a delay. So let's start over. Welcome to the show. I'm your host, Ron Stevens, and this is Game On here on UCY.TV. And it is March the 27th, 2016, and it is actually a glorious freaking day. The sun is shining. I haven't seen any planes flying overhead today. I haven't really looked that close, but I haven't seen any. And it's actually warm. So that's a really good thing. Supposed to get up to around 10 today, and well, that's a good thing for us. So I guess it's Easter Sunday or Ishtar Sunday, or however you go about looking at this thing. I pretty much let go of all these holiday things. I'm sick and tired of being deceived all the time. So we're trying to weaned ourselves off the television a long time ago, and now we're weaning ourselves off of these holidays. A little difficult. We went to a dinner over at my in-laws yesterday. A good dinner. It was fine. But I don't recall. Did you hear anybody mention Easter yesterday? Nope. Like it doesn't exist. So we just went to the food trough and ate, watched some TV. It was amazing TV we watched, some reality shows, big screen TV. I was not impressed, but we were there. Food was good. Conversation was, let's see, void of any substance. But I'm in Canada, so I don't expect too deep a conversation from people, which is unfortunate because I yearn for it. Always have, and it's always been a problem. It continues to be a problem, but hopefully we'll get over that some hour, and people will start discussing what's actually important. Let's see what we got here. Let's see. Where am I going to go here today? All right, here's one here. Let's see what the RCMP are up to. RCMP arrest Ontario man on terrorism fears. Not on terrorism, but I guess on terrorism fears. In a very fearful world we live in now. Terrorism. It says here an Ontario man has been detained in a preventative arrest. Preventative arrest on fears of terrorism following an RCMP national security investigation in Toronto. Kevin Omar Mohammed, 23, has been charged with carrying a concealed weapon and possession of a dangerous weapon. His lawyer, Ansar Farouk, told CBC the charges related to a knife, but little more is known about the circumstances of arrest. Police said Mohammed was taken into custody pursuant to Section 810.011 of the Criminal Code, fear of terrorism offense. Now, see, this is something I didn't know. Just when you think you're getting a handle on things, they throw something else at you, right? I didn't know there was such a charge as a fear of terrorism offense. Now, it's spelled with a C, not a S, so you know it ain't criminal, or it shouldn't be criminal, because an offense and an offense with a C and offense with S is different. This is a lovely use of the language by the lawyers. Although arrested, he has yet to be charged with any terrorism-related offense. So he's been arrested for fear of terrorism offense, but he hasn't been charged with any terrorist offense. This arrest speaks to our ability to tackle a threat that is multifaceted and constantly evolving. RCMP Superintendent Lise Crouch, Assistant Criminal Operations, said in a news release, while there was no indication of any plans for a domestic attack, we must remain committed to preventing individuals from traveling abroad to gain training and expertise that could be used in the planning and implementation of future attacks on Canadian soil. That's corporate soil, remember that. Mohammed's lawyer, Ansar Farouk, told CBC News the RCMP has been surveilling his client since 2014 and alleged that he has been involved with facilitating and encouraging terrorist activity through the use of social media. Interpretation of social media. It is an interpretation of the context and the words uttered by him in a social media context, he said. Somebody's got to review this to determine whether it's appropriate to have him on a peace bond. The lawyer also said he is not aware of any prior convictions for Mohammed and that his client is somewhat confused at this time. It's a lot to take in, said the lawyer. He was arrested at 2 p.m. yesterday, so a lot of movement happens in that period of time. The RCMP said Mohammed's arrest was part of an extensive national security criminal investigation called Project SWAP, but aren't releasing any further information about the reason for his arrest at this time. In a statement, they specified the arrested is no way linked to attacks that occurred in Brussels, Belgium this week. Mohammed appeared in Brampton, Ontario court Saturday and remains in custody. His next court appearance is set for Tuesday morning. A peace bond was warranted. The RCMP has been investigating, and they have a belief at this point, which hasn't been tested in court, that he may be a threat to the security of Canada. That's the corporation. And they're following up on that by having him arrested. They haven't charged him with any offenses. Mohammed's lawyer told CBC News. Whether or not it justifies a peace bond is something for the courts to determine, he added. Based on a fear that someone will commit a terrorism offense, police may obtain a peace bond, a tool that can mean jail unless a suspect abides by strict conditions. For instance, that they may surrender their passport and regularly report to the police. Peace bonds have been increasingly used since 2001 for terrorism suspects, 6 of them related to members of the 206 Toronto 18 plot, and most recently against Winnipeg man Aaron Driver for social media posts justifying the shootings on Parliament Hill on October 24th. Anti-terrorism legislation introduced by the Conservative government under Bill C-51 in 2015 makes it easier for the RCMP to obtain peace bonds. Well, isn't that interesting? I don't know how much longer I'm going to be on the air. I did have the chief of police, or they call them inspectors now, chief inspectors of the OPP, when he called me at home to explain to me that my problem, which I didn't know I had till he called, but I appreciate him calling to let me know that I have a problem. When the chief inspector called me at home and said, my problem is that I am diametrically opposed to what 99% of the community thinks. So I don't know if that's a crime. He seemed upset about it. I don't know if it's a crime or what the problem is, but, maybe we'll have a visit for the RCMP. But then I did have the ISU here at my house for a couple hours, and we had a very good meeting, and they don't like the OPP. They think they're a bunch of rogue assholes. And the SIU is investigate police wrongdoing. But for the most part, the police to police. And the RCMP are basically military, the Queen's military, okay? It's all a load of garbage. But the fact is, you can, I guess the police now can pick up anybody, anywhere, anytime, for whatever. I mean, they've been following this guy since 2014, and but there seems to be a lot of Mohammeds in that are getting arrested. There seems to be a lot of Mohammeds flooding into the area. Brampton, when I was a teenager, Brampton was, for the most part, white. And now it is, for the most part, not white. They just keep flooding these people in here. Why, I have no idea. Yes, I do have an idea, actually. And I don't want to sound racist, but if you are of the white so-called race, you are now in the middle and experiencing the white genocide. And it's been brought about by the same people that genocided the original native people on these lands. And now it's our turn. And the question is, are we going to stand up to it? I'm hoping the answer is yes. But it seems that people have been so stupefied and dumbed down and have no moral compass or they just seem like the lost sheep, I guess, the zombie class. When I was a kid, I had problems with my fellow Canadians. But it's really bad now. I mean, it's just gotten worse. It's just gotten way worse. It's just gotten way, way worse. You know, we can bitch and we can complain and we can point fingers, but do we have the capacity to actually do what needs to be done? Do we have the capacity to stand up against what is right in front of our faces that is intent on causing us serious harm? I don't know, but I guess we're going to find out as time goes by. Let's see what else we can find here. I still intend to do this newspaper, and I was actually down to get a coffee today, you know, and I said, you know, the girl who works behind the counter, who I find most of the people I talk to, and it's really strange. You got Max, I guess it was Max Milk, it's Max whatever it is now, the one-eyed owl, and winking at you. And I actually find these people more intelligent than most of the people that I actually talk to. And most of them have been dropouts from school, which means they got out of there with their minds still somewhat intact. They have the ability to see better than those that stayed in school, I suppose. And but the girl I was talking to this morning, she went to college or something to take a horticultural course, and I told her, I said, why would you need to do that? Right? Read a book. There, you're done. You can read the books faster, not in school. You can probably understand things faster, not in school. And I hope I wasn't an influence on her, because she only went to school for, I don't know, maybe one semester or something, maybe two, and then she was back. And I said, like, are you on holidays or that? She said, no, I left it. I said, wasn't as exciting as you thought, was it? No. A lot slower than you thought it was going to be. Yes. Mind-numbing, wasn't it? Yes. So if you want to be a horticulturalist, just go be a horticulturalist, right? And you'll be quicker on your feet if you don't go to the school. What I found from people that graduate from college and university is that they seem really stuck. You know, you ask them to do something they ought to know how to do, or at least be able to figure it out. And they go, well, that's not what we were taught. Huh? You're not in school now, idiot. Figure it out. Well, that's not how we were taught. Not what we were taught. So you tell them, well, you better get out your template then and show me exactly what you were taught and what you can and can't do. And if the teacher didn't tell you how to do it, then you'll never be able to do it, is what you're telling me. So you're basically useless. Nice certificate, though. You want to hang that on your wall. But you're basically brain dead. So, you know, I was there this morning getting my coffee, and I got to tell you, I really learned how to make a perfect coffee for myself now. You know, I go down there to the Max one-eyed little owl there, and they have Seattle's best coffee is what they sell at Max. Now, I don't know if it's Seattle's best coffee. I don't even know where I don't even know where it comes from. And I don't know why I'm in a little town in Ontario drinking the best coffee from Seattle. I have no idea where that is, but that's what it says. We're serving Seattle's best coffee. Now, if that's Seattle's best coffee, I don't know. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. But the one good thing about my little one-eyed Max store is they have all the other things set up there. You got your hot chocolate, and you got your you got all these machines there, and you just push the button and get what you want. But I want the coffee. But so I finally did it. I finally figured out how to make me the best coffee I can make so far. and that is my brother-in-law. He puts chocolate milk in his coffee sometimes. I tried that, but it got too chocolatey. So what I do is I put 3 Irish creams in the bottom, 2 brown sugars, and just about maybe add a quarter, maybe ½ inch of hot chocolate. And then I take it over to the number 4 coffee and I fill that puppy up, stir it up, and I'm telling you, this is one fine tasting cup of coffee. And it took a while, but we got it figured out now. And if I can figure that out, we can figure anything else out, I guess. Let's see. We have a rural temple in China that houses the elderly for free. This is on the CBC, like I care. Speaking of China, I put some honey on my toast this morning because I can't put peanut butter on it, because if I put peanut butter on it, coffee and peanut butter don't go together. So if I have peanut butter on toast before I go to get my coffee, it really messes up the taste of my coffee. So I had a thing of natural honey in the cupboard. So I squirted some honey on my toast, and then I thought, well, what is this stuff? Because I'd read somewhere that most store honey isn't really 100% honey. So I thought, why not read the label? So I looked at the label and it says natural. Natural. Well, what exactly does natural mean? Well, it all depends, doesn't it? It can mean natural or it can mean not natural. That's the ambiguity of the legal language, the wizards, the magicians that run our societies. They change the meanings of the word on us. Now, what you might think is the meaning of the word is not necessarily the meaning of the word. But what I found interesting on the back is that this stuff is coming out of Toronto, I think. And on the bottom of the label, it says it is a blend of Chinese honey and Canadian honey. Now, there's no specifics as to what the percentage of Chinese to Canadian honey is, but the Chinese is before the Canadian, so I would suspect that there's more Chinese honey in it than there is Canadian honey. Now, is it 99% Chinese honey? Then what exactly is the difference between Chinese honey and Canadian honey? I don't know. I may have to phone them and ask them, because that's messed up. Now, you might think I'm being too nitpicky about this, but this is what you have to do. I mean, we live in Canada, and my friends in the United States live in the United States, and my friends in Britain live in Britain, and my friends in Australia live in Australia, and so on and so forth. And it is incumbent upon us in each of our nations to build, grow, engineer everything that we can, which gives us full employment and much better standards of living than importing all this garbage from everywhere that we don't know what's in it, we don't know where it came from. We have given up our right of nation. If we can't manufacture what we require, then we're not really much of a people, are we? We're kind of like corporate welfare idiots. Like we don't, North America, Australia, nobody makes anything. Which means you're definitely not independent. And if you're not independent, then you are dependent. And if you're a people that are dependent, then you're obviously not a free people. We've gotten very lazy. We've allowed them to gut out our nations, to subvert our nations, to subvert our people. And now we've become dependent. We're not independent. And a lot of people think they are, but they're not. Well, these are not independent nations. These are completely dependent nations, and that means the people of those nations are completely dependent on outside influences, sources, and so on and so forth. Okay, we don't screen our food anymore. We don't screen our water anymore. It's all somebody else doing it for us. Isn't that handy? We don't even have to think. You know, we just do. And that's what they've done, and that's what Brezhnev said they were going to do to us. And they've done it. And we need to change that around as fast as we possibly can. Now, when I was up getting my coffee this morning, there's the regulars in there with their little lottery tickets. Can't believe how much this little town spends on lottery tickets every single day. Like, that's one store in a little town of 7,000 people. And they say they bring in at least $1,000 in sales in lottery tickets every day. And that's one outlet that sells lottery tickets. This is sad. And the people don't seem to be engaged in anything. You know, so when I was talking to the girl this morning, you know, the horticulturalist, you know, I said, you know, one thing I'm finding with Canadians is that, well, I've always known it, they're great followers. Okay, if they don't have to actually think or engage themselves, you can get them to join a group. And it's more like it's all like social groups and that. You know, I'm a member of this group. Why did you join? Well, my friend Sadie joined, so she told me to join, so I did. You know what it's about? Not really. Just what they tell me. You know, but you feel good about it? Oh, yeah, I feel good about it. You know, I'm participating. In what? I don't know. But I go there. Do you know why you go there? Not really. But you like it. Oh, yes. You know, it's that's Canada. Unfortunately, it's most places in the West now. You know, don't make me think. Please don't make me think. I don't want to think. It hurts my head. I might think wrong thoughts. I don't want to rock the boat. I just want to get along. I just want my happiness quotient to be as high as I possibly can get it. But I really don't want to think about anything. I like to sit in front of the TV and be entertained. Let's see here. Let me see here if there's anything worth looking at here at all today. I don't see anything. What's the future of Canadian healthcare? Oh, let's go there and see what's the best way forward for Canadian healthcare. The overly chubby health minister is working with her provincial counterparts on a long-term plan. Well, slim down, girl. You're getting chubby. Janet, what the hell's her name? Philpott. Jane Philpott says she's working every day. Every single frickin' day. That means she's working right now. Right this minute, Jane is working with her provincial counterparts on a long-term health accord that will include a number of initiatives, including a $3 billion investment in home care. That's your $3 billion, people. The last 10-year health accord, which included an annual 6% increase in health transfers to provinces, expired in 2014. The previous Conservative government refused to renegotiate it and unilaterally declared that the 6% escalator would end in 2017. Although they denounced the Conservative move and promised to negotiate a new accord with long-term funding agreement, the Liberals did not specifically promise to reinstate the escalator. And Philpott appeared to suggest Thursday it's not even in the cards. At $36 billion, health transfers already the largest in Canadian history, she told the House of Commons. As for not putting the promised $3 billion in additional home care funding on the books yet, Philpott said later that the federal government first wants to strike an agreement with the provinces about how that money is to be spent and what Canadians should expect to see as a result. What is the best way forward for the Canadian healthcare system? I don't know. Let's read on. Readers let us know in today's CBC Forum, a live hosted discussion about topics of natural interest. Here is some of what they had to say. Please note that usernames are not necessarily names of the commenters. Some comments have been altered to correct spelling and to conform to CBC style. Click on the username to see the comment in the blog format. Katie says, I do not think the system is broken. It continues to need to evolve and respond. Two-tier systems would fix nothing. Emergent care centers and more nurse practitioners would address many issues. People need more immediate access to healthcare providers, but there are solutions. Well, thanks for saying absolutely nothing, Katie. Micmac, there is a serious palliative care crisis on the horizon as the baby boomers retire. The only solution is a large increase in public funding. Well, Micmac, there is another solution. We could whack them. Okay, we could set up a system where, once you're not productive for the corporation anymore, then you become a liability of the corporation. So the easiest way to get rid of liabilities is cut them loose. So expect a large amount of money to be spent over the next 5-10 years in developing a beautiful, wonderful death squad, if you will. We don't want to call it Death Squad. It'll be a lovely place, just like in Soylent Green, where you will be taken care of with lovely music and a wonderful bed to lay in. And just like in Soylent Green, all you lovely folks living in the city that don't get around nature much, they'll have beautiful scenery of mountains and streams and deer and all that kind of stuff as they peacefully put you to sleep forever and ever, saving the healthcare system a huge amount of money, and therefore giving the younger people a better opportunity for their futures. So, eWint says we have to decide what we want and then fund it properly. And yes, that may mean higher taxes. It will still be much cheaper than in the United States, where they got Obamacare, which was really Clinton care, which I think could have been Bush care. They do this stuff incrementally over several so-called governments in order to get everything in place. So while they call it Obamacare, you could call it whatever care you want. Call it Rockefeller care, call it Ford care, call it Carnegie care, call it UN care, call it whatever the hell you want to call it. But the idea of care is slipping rapidly. What do we got here? You can't edit that because it's all true. I don't know what's going on here. I just got a thing from Skype. And it says set up a new site. You did set up a new site? Well, let me see. It says socialjustice.ca. I'm going to go look at it. So I are. In a minute. I'm going to read some of this first. Let's see. Andrew says prevention is the key. Developing healthy public policy and effective health promotion resources is integral to lowering healthcare costs. People need greater education surrounding their health and the factors that can affect their well-being. Having issues funding such things, slap a greater tax on alcohol, cigarettes, and junk food, says Andrew, who is probably thoroughly vaccinated by this point in his life and is probably on some pharmaceutical. BC Coast. Well, this should be interesting from the BC Coast. The BC Coast says healthcare needs to include basic dental and vision care. Doing so would prevent some of the more severe diseases and save money in the long run. This could easily be paid for if we stop subsidies to the oil and gas industry and close all tax loopholes for the wealthy. Well, that sounds like something that would come from the BC Coast, somebody that maybe had a Suzuki bar down at the local store. Yes, indeedy. If the federal government is funding healthcare, there needs to be more standardization of services rendered by the provinces. There is no reason why a person moving from province to province has to wait to get on the provincial medical plan, says Jonathan. Well, each province is its own corporation, and each of the provinces are, you call it public health care, but if you haven't noticed, it's all been privatized, or most of it's been privatized. So this idea of public health care coming from the Minister of Health calling it public health is at best a lie. It is all being privatized. So this idea that you have public health, have a nice day with that one. The front says it's public. The back end of it says it's private. And Robbie Canuck, that's a nice name. Robbie Canuck says it is critical that the healthcare system look into itself and rid itself of the needless bureaucracy, which is costing the system huge dollars that can be better spent on actual care. It is obviously there is poor control of management, and our tax dollars are not being used efficiently by politicians and administrators, and thus we constantly have deficits. And it's all for a reason, Robbie. Okay? It's all for a reason. Your tax dollars aren't used for anything. Your tax dollars go to pay the interest on the debt. Okay? Your tax dollars don't go to the healthcare system. They don't go to the roads. They don't go anywhere. Okay? We use borrowed money for all of that to increase our debt so that our masters can reap more benefits while we continue to pay higher taxes to cover the deficits. Just the way it is, Robbie Canuck. Let's see. I believe strongly in the two-tier system of health care. Those with insurance should be encouraged to bump ahead in order to free up space for those who don't. We do have some insurance, not enough to make the kind of difference I reference, but those who have should be able to get their treatments as needed. Okay, and I don't want to go there. Caper leaf, because I got sick when I was working down in the United States of America, and I got bit by something. I don't know what the hell it was, a little spider or something, but I got damn sick damn quick, and my leg just exploded, just swole up something bad, high fever. I mean, bad news, man. And I went to the hospital, and I'd already experienced this twice, the hospitalization system or the healthcare system in the United States, because I was down in Homestead, Florida. And the first gentleman who ended up in there that I knew, working down there, had a heart attack. Now, I must commend, I really have to take my hat off to their EMS guys. That was freaking amazing. The gentleman had a heart attack, and I'd made a call to 911 from the campground, and told him that we thought that Jim was having a heart attack, or we knew he was having a heart attack. And so 911 said, "Where are you?" And I told them, and they said, "Well, get to the front gates ASAP. There's a cruiser on the way now, so get to the gate and keep him awake." right? So I booted her down through the campground to the gate. And by the time I got to the gate, there was already it was like just seconds, and there's a cruiser there. And the cop just said, "Are you the guy?" And I said, "Well, yeah." And he said, "Get on the hood," right? I didn't get in the car; just get on the damn hood, right? And tell me where we're going, right? So we went through the campground, got back to where Jim was, and he was semi-conscious at a picnic table, and people were trying to keep him conscious, and the cops just saying, "Yeah, we got to keep him awake, right? We can't let him go down." And shortly after that, the EMS truck come flying in there. We got him in the truck. I got in the front seat with the driver, and had a guy in the back. And we were haul ass into the hospital. We're out in the highway, and the guy in the back of the truck, he just said, "Shut it down. We're bouncing too much." I didn't realize how hard those trucks ride, man. Like they're like Brinks trucks or something. I mean, they ride tough. And so we're right in the middle of the highway, and the guy in the back's trying to jam a blood clot buster or something into his arm, and he just said, "Shut this down, stop. I can't get the needle in." And we just stopped, boom, middle of the highway, till he got him needle. He said, "Good, let's go." And we went over to the Homestead Hospital, and they were on him like right now, and got him. We were there till fairly late. They didn't know he was going to be with us in the morning. I think we left there. It was late, 3 a.m. maybe or something. Went back the next day, and there he was sitting up. He's a tough bugger, man. He's sitting up he was from Seattle. Maybe it was his Seattle best coffee he'd been drinking. I don't know, but he was sitting up, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed when we got there the next day, in a pair of silk pajamas. And I'm thinking, what the hell's going on here? Where'd you get the silk pajamas? You were living in the back of your truck in a campground. And but the company, the people he was working for renovating their house, it was a large company, and they just picked up put their insurance over to him, and so he got grade A care. The second time I was there was another gentleman from Missouri that I would have been working with, and he had a ulcer let go or something. And I didn't know what the hell happened to him, because we repoed a car from people that owed us money and that down there. I thought maybe somebody went after him, and couldn't find him. And I finally found his truck at a fast food joint, and then went back, and I'd already called the police and the hospitals. They had no recollection of him, so finally tracked him down to the same hospital, and I went in there, and they were taking good care of him. It was a private insurance hospital, nice hospital, new hospital, and they were taking good care of him. But they were bleeding off this ulcer juice or whatever. And when I went in, the first thing he said to me was come here. Like he's got all these tubes, these drain tubes in him, and he's going, "Come here." He says, "Tell no one I own anything." Right? I go, "What's that all about?" "I don't have any insurance." "So, you're sick." "Yeah, but I don't have any insurance." "But you're sick. You're in a hospital. What's the problem?" "Well, because if they found out owning it, they'll take it all." Now, he had a farm over in Missouri, and backhoes and trucks and loaders and stuff like that. And he was in the hospital sick, in total fear that him being sick, he would lose everything he ever owned. And I'm thinking, this is nuts. So Jimmy's in silk pajamas because the company he's working for picked up the healthcare, put him on their healthcare plan. And so Jimmy ain't got nothing, but he's living like a king in here. And you have stuff and no insurance, and you're fearful to death that you're going to lose everything. Well, I said, that don't make any sense. So after that, I got sick with whatever bit me, and so I went to the same hospital, But I didn't go in an ambulance. I walked in. And I mean, I knew the nurses there. We've been to that hospital so many damn times. And I got to say, the staff was really nice, and emergency crews were really good. So I can't fault any of that. These people are dedicated to helping people who have health problems. That's what the health business is supposed to be about. Unfortunately, it's a business. That's the problem. It's a business. And, if you can't afford to get your car fixed, well, then you can get around that, right? You can wait till you save up some money to get your car fixed or whatever. But when you're healthy, when you're deadly sick, you can't wait. And but this is the problem with it being a business. Health should not be a business. Okay, there's no room for it to be a business. And so when I got sick, I went there, and I was really high fevered, and my leg was blowing out, and they told me I was really sick, and I said, well, good, look after me, and they said, well, you have health insurance, and I said, well, I did have, but I ended up staying down here a little bit longer than I planned, so it's run out. And they go, well, we can't look after you until you have health care. So I said, fine, I'll just phone up and get it extended. So I phoned back up here and said, I'm here for a little bit longer than I planned. So just throw another 3 months health insurance on it or whatever. And I was informed that I said, I'll get my wife to come down and pay you. And they said, no, you have to show up in person. And I'm going, well, what are you telling me? I'm going to get on an airplane and fly from Florida back there and then turn around and fly from there back down to Florida so I can give you a few dollars? That's stupid. But they wouldn't allow my wife to extend it. And so I'm getting sicker by the minute, by the hour, whatever. And I go back to the hospital and they go, no, we can't help you. You have to go to Liberty City Hospital, whatever the hell that was called. So I go there, and I'm sick, and it's hot, and drive for a long, long time to get there, just to get to this place that's really looking decrepit as hell. I walk in, and I've said this story before. It looked like a bombed-out bus shelter or something, or a bus station, and a bare bulb hanging from the ceiling. One guy behind this old, desk. People laying all over the floors in there, and I'm just going, what the hell is this place? I'm thinking, Jesus, I'm one step away from Soylent Green here, right? So I hung around there for a little bit, trying to get a handle on what's going on. Not long, though, because I was sick and getting sicker. When he told me that these people got there yesterday and were sleeping on the floor and hadn't been looked at yet, I thought, this ain't going to be good for me. So I just told him, I said, well, here's your slip. And I ripped it up, gave it back to him. And I said, see ya. And he said, where are you going? I said, I'm going back to Homestead. He said, they won't look after you there. I want to bet. Now, it took some doing. But you see, most people, this is what bugs me about people. Most people won't do what they got to do. Most people would have stayed in that shithole of a Liberty Hospital there and put up with the nonsense because somebody told them that they won't do this for you. Well, I'm sick and you're medical. You're going to fix me one way or the other. So when I went back, they were just surprised as hell when I walked back into that hospital at Homestead. They go, what are you doing here? I'm back. But we can't look after you. Want to bet? How sick am I? You're very, very, very ill. Fine. Then let's fix me. But we can't do that. Well, wait a minute. I'm in a hospital. How is it I'm in a hospital and you can't help me? Well, you don't have insurance. Well, I did have insurance, and I didn't use that insurance because I wasn't sick, so let's just pretend I'll use the insurance I didn't use when it was, whatever. Nope, no can do. So, we have to go through all the nonsense of, I'll phone the Miami Herald, and I'll phone all the media, and I'll phone the Canadian consulate, and yada, yada, yada. We'll make a big shitstorm out of this. And if you want, but I don't want to, and they didn't want to. And it wasn't the nurses, and it wasn't anybody there except for the administration. Okay, the money people. It wasn't about my health. It was about they're going to get money. Well, if money comes before people's health, we're in a lot of trouble. If a man or a woman or a child's health is dependent on money, then we are not a nation. We can't possibly be a nation of people who would turn away their own people for $1. That's pathetic. That is really pathetic. But anyways, we got it straightened out. I finally got them to set up a meeting with the administrators, and we had a lawyer in there, I think. We had accountants in there. We had all kinds. We had a boardroom. All right? I'm getting sicker by the freaking minute, and I'm sitting there yammering away at these dickweeds who finally saw my logic and forced their moral hand. And once we got through that, then all of a sudden, as soon as they got the go-ahead, as soon as the health workers got the go-ahead from the administrative body that they could look after me, they were on me so fast, and they were looking after me so well. And I was given a really good doctor, and then they could help me get my health back. But not many people would go through this nonsense. And that's the problem. Okay? People just can't, I don't know why they can't stand. I don't know what that is other than the education system and this idea of authority and all the rest of this garbage that keeps them in their place. I don't get that at all. If you live in America or you live in Canada and you're sick, you get health care. I mean, I've heard so many sad stories out of the United States where people work their entire freaking lives and paid their health insurance or couldn't afford their health insurance or for whatever reason. Because I've seen all kinds of stories where people have had health insurance, but it wasn't the right health insurance for this particular disease they got or something. It's like a warranty program on a frickin' car. But then you are just a product. Just a product is like a car. Okay? You're just a human resource. You're just an animal. You're not a man. You're not a woman, not in their eyes, in their legal system. And if they view you as not an asset but a liability, they don't want to touch you. Okay, just cut you loose. And I don't know how many people die a year stateside because they can't afford the medical system. So as far as I'm concerned, they say, well, people say in Canada when we got the the same people. This is a kicker. The same people who set up the Canadian healthcare system, the universal healthcare system, are the same people that set up the healthcare system in the United States. The same damn people. We're just a freaking experiment for these people. Rockefeller Foundation funded the first public health care in Ontario. It wasn't the Ontario government, it was the Rockefeller Foundation, for crying out loud. Influence, so they can play their stupid game with us. The same guys that set up our first public health care system, funded it, are the same guys that funded the insurance business in the United States for health. See how they'd work out. See how they could move society from here to there. We got to cut that loose. We're going to ban these clowns. If you cannot provide health care for your people, then you cannot call yourself a moral society or a nation. You know, you almost got to go back to your Aboriginals. I mean, the people who were here first, when someone's sick in their nation or their tribe, then go over and say, well, you know, you got any insurance? What? You got any insurance? We started a new healthcare system, and you got no insurance? I don't even know what you're talking about. Well, it's a new thing we started. And sorry, you've got no insurance. Well, we're going to have to take your horse and your teepee and everything else you own. And then by the time we're done, it's like lawyers, eh? Because it's the lawyers that write all this crap. You know, people go and hire a lawyer, and I tell them, you know, the lawyer's just going to bleed you till you can't afford the lawyer anymore. And then you're done. And he's got your money. Same thing with these healthcare systems we've got running here, just to bleed you out. Okay, they're like jackals. Okay, you get sick, they assess the value that they can get out of you. And if they can't get the value out of your insurance payments, then they'll get the value out of anything you own. And if you don't own anything, well, then chances are you're not going to get very good health care. So everything's been monetized. That's what I like about the Aboriginal system. You know, I like the Aboriginal court system, which is law. That's the beauty of if you understand the Aboriginal law, it is the law of our Creator. That's the law. And they have basically a jury, if you will, not really a jury, but they have a circle. And the parties are brought together, the one that caused the harm and the one that was harmed. And they're brought together to talk, to figure out why this happened. And if it's decided that, yes, you did, you know, burn a hole in their teepee, you know, and they're getting wet there now, so could you kindly go fix the damn thing? And the perpetrator has a choice. He doesn't have to fix it. Okay, but law being moral, the whole point is he has a moral duty to go and undo the harm that he's caused. He doesn't have to. But if he doesn't, then he's decided to be outside of the law, an outlaw. Okay? And those that became outlaws were told to leave. Okay? And no one was to help them because they wouldn't undo the harm that they caused. And then that's what outlaw is. And you can bet your bottom dollar if someone was ill in their community, if you will, they did everything, everybody did everything in their power to help that man or woman or child back to health. You never heard anybody asking for insurance or what do you own or everything else. I mean, this is the sickness of these so-called societies that have been built for us, these societies that were built by bar members who use jargon, which is the language of the thieves. Nothing in your health care, nothing in your education, nothing in, and it's all run by lawyers. And of course, the bankers. But it all boils down to the lawyers because all of the banking law was written by lawyers. So woe on you sons of bitches who call yourself the law, the lawmakers. You don't make law. Okay? Legal is similar like to, but not law by definition. It is a color of law, but not law. The legal system is a system set up to deceive. And we have been mightily deceived. And things ain't going to get no better unless we start getting back to real law. As long as we're in this legal system, we're snookered. That has to get gone somehow. It's like this, it's like a plague upon the people. It's a sickness. And we have to get out from underneath of that thing. I mean, the legal system, the bar, the legal system out of London is a system they set up and they sold it. They sell the damn thing to other countries. Like you sell cars or shoes. And it's a system of deception and enslavement and fraud. And it has to be dealt with. Because until it's dealt with, we're snookered. I mean, I love that book. If you haven't read that, I just love the book. I mean, it's kind of silly because the guy was a law professor, even though he never became a lawyer. But Fred Riddell, when we wrote that book in 1939, after going through law school, makes no bones about it. Okay? These are the modern medicine men. These are the tricksters, the deceivers, and it is all, in his estimation, a fraud. Well, if this guy went through the law school and he came out the other end deciding he couldn't be a lawyer because it's against his moral status, and called the thing out for a fraud, which it is, how do we still be in this mess? Probably because it was never taught to us in school. That may have something to do with it. Like all of this stuff is just, it's just bullshit. That's all it is. That is all it is. What is this here? Well, that's the story I was just reading. UK. Well, maybe it's a different story here. Canadian arrested. I'll look at some of this stuff in a minute, D. What was I looking at? Okay. Let me get back to here. If you look up the word system, okay, it says here, 1610s, the whole creation, the universe, an arrangement, system, organized whole, a whole compounded parts, to place together, organize, form, in order, together, cause to stand, meaning set of correlated principles, facts, ideas, etc., first recorded 1630s, meaning animal body as an organized whole, sum of the vital processes in an organism. Let's see here. It's a system that has been set up to enslave us. And as I went through this is over at etymology, not the dictionaries. Well, it is an old dictionary, but there's about, how many pages of this stuff is there? There's 6 pages basically related to system. And we have colonization. We have... it almost seems like, I can't remember which exact page that was on. Let me see if I can track it down here. I can't find the word I'm looking for. It was under governance. It was part of governance. I have to go and put all of this together here because it's really quite good. I just have to. That's not where I found it. What else we got here? Okay. Now that came off of, will I find it here? Maybe I will. Going back to subvert. But this is what they've done, okay? I mean, if you look at the word, this is under subvert, to raise, destroy, overthrow, undermine, overturn, turn upside down. That's what it is. Our world's been turned upside down. Subversion, physical destruction, demolition, ruination, overthrow of a system of law, okay? And it was overthrown. The law was overthrown and replaced by the legal system. Is exactly what happened. And let's see here. Like I said, I went through 6 pages of this stuff, but I'm just looking for a type of government here, a type of government system. Where the hell did I find that? What page? Let me see. I'm not going to be able to dick around with this because I haven't got it set up here right. Let me see if I can find it under... shoot. That'll have to be for another day. I do like the word immune that's in here, which is free, exempt, in brackets from taxes, tithes, sin, etc. Latin immunis, exempt from public service, untaxed, unburdened, non-tributary, from assimilated form, minus performing services, compare municipal. Let's see. Yeah, so to be immune is to be immune from, and that's the 15th century, right? By the 1800s, it became inoculations, which is a misuse of the words. I'm looking for a word that I think best describes our present government system. And I really, governance, what what is that word? Anyways, I'm not going to get it, am I? I'll have to organize this a little bit better. I was reading some of this stuff. I wanted to look at and tie this system together. And it's not, oh, here it is here. Okay. We are in not a democracy. Okay. We are in a cacistocracy. Cacistocracy. And it's spelled Kakistocracy. And government by the worst element of a society is what it says. 1829, coined by Thomas Love Peacock. And I don't know the gentleman. I'll have to look him up. An analogy of its opposite, aristocracy, from the Greek kakistos, worst, bad, which perhaps is related to the general Indo-European word for defecate. See cacocracy, which is CACO, and when you go through that, you end up with shit. Okay, so those that you so-called elected to govern you are actually defecating upon you. And you don't have to look very far to figure that one out. Okay? You are just chunks of meat, animal meat to them. You mean nothing to them. And that's, we have to somehow, now people may think that that's, let's see, hence with bad laws ill-governed. I don't think there's a bad system of laws in government. I don't think there's very many people out there that would disagree that we have a bad system of laws in government and that we have bad laws and are ill-governed. I don't think too many people would disagree with that. So let me buzz back here and see, okay, defecate. To purify, cleanse, from dredges, purify, feces, defecation, an Old English word for bowel movement was arse gang, literally arse going. Shyster is right underneath a defecation. Shyster, an unscrupulous lawyer, is right underneath defecation. What a wonderful place to stick a lawyer. Instead of lawyers shitting on us or defecating upon us, we ought to turn around and start defecating on the lawyers. Because they are the ones that created the ill laws, the ill governments. So we have an unscrupulous lawyer, that's from 1843, used as slang probably altered from the German shyster, incompetent, worthless person, from scheiße or shit. German's schissen, to defecate, see shit. I love it. I love it. Because when you look at defecate, you end up back down here to caco, which was the word we found the first time. Bad, ill, poor. Latinized from the Greek caco. Bad, evil. Considered by etymologists probably to be connected with defecate. The ancient Greek prefix was common in compounds. When added to words already bad, it made them worse. When added to words signifying something good, it implies too little of it. which brings us right back to kakistocracy, governed by the worst element of society, which is the lawyers. These are the people that the original colonies didn't want nothing to do with. It was one of the reasons they got the hell out of Britain. Get away from these clowns. When these lawyers started showing up, or attorneys, those who have turned, treasonous bastards, if you will, of the law, and that's what they are. It's treason against the law. When they started drifting into the colonies, I mean, they were treated like vermin. Get them out of here. But they kept sneaking back in, and they kept plying their wares. So it's governed by the worst element of society. Now, the lawyers govern your society because here in Ontario, we have the Law Society of Upper Canada, which has been given exclusivity to writing laws. But they use the language of the thieves and the vagabonds and the tricksters. And if you look up all of this stuff, you find it comes from the arts. It's artful, like the Artful Dodger in the movie Oliver, who could have been a lawyer. So, we have a system of bad laws and bad government. And you get to go to the ballot box, I guess, and you get to choose which color, normally red or blue, those are the two most prominent colors, and that seems to be the most two prominent colors also in the Catholic masses, red for politicians and blue for the force. And the politicians, the high-level politicians, are almost always lawyers. And so you have the color of and the force of law, of which they have two masses for. So we have a bad system of laws and government, which is a system of bad laws and ill-governed. And right below that, you have the word crap. Defecate is what comes under crap. 1846. From one of a cluster of words generally applied to things cast off or discarded, such as weeds growing among corn, residue from rendering, underworld slang for money, and that was trodden underfoot in a barn, chaff, and so basically, we, and below that word, below crap, is the word shit. And misfortune, trouble. And that's what we are. We're in trouble. And we suffer misfortune because of these people. And the last word in here is go. Old English, to advance, walk, depart, go away, happen, take place, conquer, observe, practice, exercise. Let's see. Let me see what we got here. The word in its various forms and combination takes up 45 columns of close print in the OED, meaning cease to exist. is from 1200s. That of to appear, with reference to dress, appearance, is from late 14. That of to be sold is from the early 15. Meaning to be known with by is from the 1590s. That of pass into another condition or state is from the 1580s, and that's what they've done. They changed our state from living men and women to dead corporate entities. From the 1600s is to wager, hence to stand, to treat, and to go. 1864, meaning say, emerged, colloquial meaning, urinate or defecate, attested 1926. A privy, literally a going. And what do we have? We have a privy council, the Queen's Privy Council, who is basically defecating on us. And that is our government. And if you're not tired of being shit upon by now, your children being shit upon by the teachers, the absolute sickness that's going on in our schools now. I mean, we were lied to from the time we went to public school. That's what it was set up for, to lie. Some people call it revisionist history. It's just made up history. It's just what they wanted you to think, wanted you to believe. So we don't have a government, okay? A government by the people and for the people would not likely defecate upon itself, now would it? That wouldn't make any sense. Your government is a corporation, and you are a human resource. You've been reduced from a man to a human. You've been reduced from law to legal, and you became a asset or liability of the corporation. Period. And you have been defecated on constantly. You know, I think next time I get pulled over by a cop, instead of saying, "Are you detaining me?" You know, I say, you pulled me over so you can defecate on me? Because if you give me a ticket, that's exactly what you've done. Frickin' words, eh? Anyways, that's what I wanted to say about government, and that's all under the word of system. It's a system which has changed your status. It is a system that has enslaved you. It is a system that has deceived you. And it is a system to set up that defecates upon you. And we should not be very happy campers about that. Anyways, let me see what I got here. New sex ed curriculum. I didn't get a chance to read this. Dee sent this to me. Oh, God, I'm going to puke. This is the Torontoist. This is from the Torontoist. Under politics, new sex ed curriculum is potentially life-saving for gender non-conforming youth. Amidst mountains of protest, some LGBTQ advocates hope that the curriculum introduction of gender nonconformity will give a voice to trans and genderqueer youth. You notice that it says LGBTQ. There's no S in that, is there? Now, the majority of the people would consider themselves S's and IE straight. But in this new sex ed curriculum, you won't find an S because there's no room for the majority. This is all set up to give whatever the frick the minority is superiority over what most people would consider normal. Okay, I got a caller here, which I greatly appreciate. So we're going to see who we got.
Hey, Ron, how's it going, Ron? Hey, man, how's it going? Long time no hear, man.
Vinny?
Hey, you got it, dude. How's it going?
You got sunshine where you are today, Vinny.
Oh, no, the clouds around here is just like a white paste in the sky.
Well, that'll be our friendly birds up in the sky spraying upon us, right?
Well, up here they're doing that anyways.
How you doing, Vinny?
Good, man. You know, hanging in there. I wasn't going to call in, but you started talking about shit, so that was very interesting.
Well, I don't know. I just rooting around. You know, I keep. Chris has got me saying system as in system, which he says, and it's true. It is a system, and it is a system. When I went through that and found that word, I'm thinking, okay, that's our government, right? And I'm sure at some point in your life you felt that you've been shit upon by your government. Oh man,
more than I can count, Ron. More than I can count.
Yeah. So it seems that this is the system of government that we actually have. It's not a democracy; it's a shitocracy.
Absolutely.
and they have no respect for us whatsoever. That is plain. You know.
Yeah. Well, get this, Ron. I was supposed to be on your show a while back. Remember that?
Yes, sir.
Well, just before the show, I went out for a walk, and I was enjoying a nice, fine spring day there, and thought I'd pick Mrs. Vinnie some flowers.
Yes.
So I bent over, and I was picking these little white flowers. You know, here in Ontario, we got Communist Central here, and so I'm picking these little white flowers, and they got three little petals on them and stuff, and I got myself a nice little bunch, and all of a sudden I get a tap on the back. And the guy, and I turn around, and there's a guy with some kind of clown suit on, police officer type guy, and he goes, "What are you doing?" I said, "Well, I'm picking Mrs. Vinnie some flowers for spring." And he goes, "Well, you can't do that." And I said, "Why not?" And he says, "Those flowers are illegal to pick."
You weren't picking Williams, were you?
Well, apparently that's what they were. Now, how the hell was I supposed to know? So anyways, next thing you know, I'm in the back of the cop car with handcuffs on after getting rustled around a bit. Well, you know what that's like, eh, Ron?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. Well, so I wasn't able to do your show. I tried to tell the guy, "Hey, I got a really important show to do about some stuff that exposes the crap that you guys are up to, and now I'm sitting in the back of your vehicle. What's this all about?"
Which just proves... Now, see, that's really rude, right? Because you're out picking some nice flowers, celebrate spring, right? With the wife, being the good guy you are, right? This will make her smile, right? And instead of a smile,
the whole thing is, you got to do that as much as possible, Ron. You know how that works.
Yes, you do. Otherwise, it doesn't work out well for most of us. But and then you get a tap on the shoulder. And what are you doing? I'm picking some flowers for the missus. What are you doing? I'm here to shit on your day.
That's exactly what happened, Ron, and it turned out to be a pretty shitty day.
Yeah.
So I only got one phone call from the cell there. Oh, luckily, actually, you know what? They were kind of nice in a way because they let me keep the flowers in the cell with me. Well, so anyways, at first they were concerned that I might eat them and try to kill myself. But I convinced them otherwise. I said, "Come on, you already made a bad day. Let me have the flowers at least."
And don't you find it funny, Vinny, that the Ontario flower, our logo flower for Ontario is the trillium, yet nobody in Ontario is supposed to pick a trillium.
That's quite funny for sure, Ron.
It just seems kind of odd, right?
Yeah, well, I was thinking that myself.
there's this is so ridiculous. I was reading a story about Sudbury this morning. Some guy was talking at the Laurentian University. There's some organizer, some shit disturber, and I don't remember what his name is.
Shit disturber. There's that word again, Ron.
Yes. But this is how ridiculous this thing is. I got this thing sent about the LBGDQ, whatever it's called, and this is how ridiculous it is. This guy is the director of research and policy at the LGBT advocacy organization Egali Canada. The new curriculum is a positive step forward, particularly in making transgender and gender variant people visible. But what really I find odd is this director of research, his name is Ryan Dick.
Ah, perfect.
Perfect name, right?
Yeah. There's a comedian, too. His name's Andy Dick, and he's a real dick.
I don't know if these guys make up their names or what, like.
Oh, yes, absolutely. They do, some of them. The comedian did anyways.
Did he?
Oh, I'm certain of that.
Yeah. But you're
because that comedian is actually of another persuasion, if you know what I mean. If I can be so subtle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what do you think of this stuff? Like, if you, I don't understand. Here's a pit. I got to put this in the freaking chat. Now, I think it looks like a guy. If you want to have blue hair and wear a skirt with a tattoo on your leg with your hacked out leggings here, fill your boots. I don't care. But don't
tweet their own, Ron. Tweet their own.
But don't get in my face about it.
That's the own part. That's the own part of that, Ron. To each their own.
Yeah, and I have to walk around on glass basically, so that I don't upset one of these people. And if I do upset them, then I could find myself in front of some kind of tribunal or in the back seat of a shitmobile. It's freaking mind-boggling that this nonsense is allowed to continue to take place. This is the story here. You know this guy. This was off the Occupy Sudbury, Ontario, Canada Facebook. And John Clark. You know the John Clark guy?
I can't say I do, Ron. Can't say
okay, he gave a big talk up here. Workers being held down, activist says in Sudbury, right? So when I tracked this guy down, if this is, I'll put this in the chat too. So I end up at this place called Dominion, and people talk about the mainstream media. And this is called the Media Co-op, and one of them is the Dominion, and then you have Halifax, Toronto, Vancouver, and Montreal. And when you go down the list here, this is all, you'll recognize some of these names. Independentmedia.ca, mostlywater.org, Seven Oaks, Basic Newsletter. We go down here, we have Groundwire. We have Common Ground. We have the Real News. We have, let's see what else we got here. Viva Canada. We have Activist Magazine, the Tyee, New Socialist, Rabble.ca, Socialist Action. So this guy, Simon Fraser University Radio and McGill University Radio. And this is what's going on basically at the university level.
McGill University, didn't the big new Brzezinski go there?
He did. And
Yeah.
what I found disturbing was that if I remember the story correctly, he's an insider because I believe he got busted for picking trilliums and didn't get arrested. So,
Or else maybe they were picking over in Quebec, they were picking them fleur-de-lis.
Oh, the fleur-de-lis, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Now, isn't the fleur-de-lis the same as a trillium?
They got 3 petals.
Isn't it the same damn flower?
Yep.
Huh?
It's on the flag of France, too.
It's what?
It's on the flag of France, too.
Yes, it is. So what's the meaning of this thing, anyways? I've tried to look that up.
3 is a trinity, Ron.
Huh?
3 is a trinity. 3 is the...
Oh, okay. Yeah. That's it then. Because I've looked up, like we have the Trillium Foundation and the Trillium this and the Trillium that, which the provincial government here is throwing money out left, right, and center to all these leftist outfits and LBGQ and everybody else, all funded by the Trillium Foundation, which is a fund in Ontario to just like the Rockefeller Fund. They put it in, and then the interest comes off of it. They give it out to the people that they want to write papers in favor of the programs they're pushing. So, I never even thought of that till the fleur-de-lis is the trillium. And we have, so I guess we have the trillium here, we have the fleur-de-lis in Quebec, and the connection between was it Mitterrand, who was the president of France, was hanging out with the head of Power Corp out at his place.
Oh, Paul Desmarais, eh?
Yes, Paul Desmarais' place. Mitterrand
yes.
was over there all the time. I think it was Mitterrand.
Paul Desmarais started out in Sudbury, eh? You know that?
Yes, with a bus line. How the hell did that happen?
I don't know. Bus line to billions of dollars. I don't know.
How did that happen?
I would say he was in a lot of shit, Ron.
I think so.
Into a lot of shit, that guy.
Because I read his original story about him and his wife starting up that bus line, and they didn't have money to even pay their bus drivers. They had to give them free bus tickets at one point. And they were busy counting their pennies and nickels trying to keep this bus line together, and all of a sudden I don't know how it went from that to becoming Power Corp, where most of our prime ministers came from. How the hell did that happen? Just a big shitstorm, right?
Just a big coincidence, Ron. It's just coincidence.
Is that what that was?
Don't worry about it, Ron.
Yeah, the other way.
Why do you always look so deeply into things?
Well, it's curiosity, I guess. It's bad, man. It's really friggin' bad. Jesuits, okay? Yes, it's the Jesuits. They came in here early on, but when you said the what do you call the trillium? The three what?
The Trinity.
The Trinity. So we have what's going on here. We have Ontario, Quebec, and California continually tangling themselves up in this energy system and the carbon trading system. It always comes in threes, right? For some odd reason. And
sometimes it does.
Well, it seems to be hooked up a lot of times.
I don't know. I think we've things have come in more than threes. They've come in like millions at us here. Different things.
Well, yeah, they're getting ugly, but. When I looked up the guy that gave the talk up in Sudbury, he's from Britain, I think, originally, and came over here and has been basically raising hell ever since. But when you go through that list, what I'm trying to say is you have all the leftist stuff that's in the universities, and then you have all the noise, the political noise, the right-left noise, and then you have the mainstream noise or lack of noise or lack of real true information. And I'm trying to zero in on who's left. And I think the only people that aren't engaged in some kind of push or some kind of interest group, I think the only people left involved that aren't involved are what we would consider the middle class. They seem to be still completely oblivious to what's going on. At least that's the way it seems to me. I mean, they read the local papers. They don't read a lot of this stuff online, and they seem to be the ones that are completely oblivious to anything that's going on around them. And I think the idea is to absolutely crush what's left of the middle class, because that's it. That's all that's left.
Between the poor and the rich. Ron. That's a given.
Yeah, between the poor and the rich, and the middle class don't see it coming. They think they're still the middle class and that everything's fine, and they can ignore the poor and they can ignore the rich. And they just have this special little Canadian place to be, right? And nothing will ever be bad happen to them. And I think they're in for a nasty, nasty hit.
Well, Ron, the same thing happened to that's happening to the middle class is the same thing that happened to Morris Strong's head. They're both getting hollowed out.
I would.
And speaking of Maurice Strong, there, no one knows where he is, but I've got inside information because, after all, I'm the kind of guy who finds inside information. If you know what I mean.
Right, I do know. Yeah. Yeah,
and Maurice Strong didn't just disappear. That guy, he was so full of hot air, they made him into a weather balloon. So now he's up there floating around in the atmosphere like a bloated bobblehead doll, monitoring climate change forever. That's what I hear.
See,
through the grapevine.
That could have been him. We had a really clear, cool night, and the stars were all out, and the moon was big, and I saw something kind of bobble by the light of the moon, and I thought it was a satellite or something, but it really didn't have the shape of a satellite, and that could have been Morris.
That probably was Ron.
Taking notes.
He's orbiting, Ron. He's orbiting.
Isn't that amazing? A guy that has so much influence that most Canadians still don't even know who the hell. If you ask this to most Canadians, who's Morris Strong, they wouldn't be able to tell you. And this guy that had so much influence on the world stage supposedly dies, and there's no recollection yet that I've been able to find of cause of death. Or where he's buried, or whether he was cremated, or whether he turned into a weather balloon. I don't know.
Well, maybe the weather balloon thing explains it, because they're not going to put that out there. They're not going to go, "Hey, Maurice Strong is floating around in the atmosphere."
Unless they're
not going to want to say that, right? So that makes sense that way.
Unless they're going to use him as part of the alien invasion thing. Large old bobbleheads coming to Earth, and then we all run to the UN. That may be, I don't know. It's ludicrous. So, but I'm so glad, because when I found that word, caca-mocracy or whatever it was called, I feel actually better about it. Now that I know I'm just being shit upon. And I know that they know they're shitting on us. It just makes it easier.
Well, yeah, to some extent. But you already knew that anyways. You didn't have to have that to verify it.
Well, I didn't have to have it, but it's nice,
Yeah, it's like the cherry on top.
Yeah. What is that?
That piece of information. It verifies to you that you're just a piece of shit. No offense, Ron.
No, it's fine. No offense taken.
I'm just calling you that because that's how they're treating you. So if that's how they're treating you, that's what you must be, Ron.
Yes. See,
Yeah.
and that makes it,
So,
that
and the other
makes
thing,
it better.
Hey, Ron, the other thing is, I was thinking about that word too. Like, the word for chocolate is pretty similar to that too, like cacao or something like that.
Something like that, yes.
So I'm pretty sure that's why they named it that, because you know what it looks like. Sure, don't taste like that, but you never know. It is Soylent Green Days coming up, you know.
Well, I know. I'm how old am I now?
You're 62, Ron.
No, I'm 61.
Well, you're 62nd year.
Yeah, but we ain't there yet. So, you know, by the time, you know, I'm feeling pretty healthy. So I'm hopeful that we get some more time here, because Suzuki's 80 now, so he's gonna promote assisted suicide, or proper death, I suppose he'll call it, the death the way it should be, which is scheduled like a vacation trip ahead of time. So he'll be promoting that till he kicks off. So by the time I'm ready to go, we'll have those beautiful rooms just like in Soylent Green, and I'll have nothing to fear or worry about. You can't get away from this damn Suzuki.
I'm sure they'll be starting to set up franchises for that, eh, Ron?
Well, yeah.
Franchise opportunities. And
absolutely.
It's really hard to find something to do in this type of economy we have, so you got to go with the flow.
What they're going to do is they're going to use their licensing system, so they will make it illegal to die, right? And the only way that you can die is to die at the hands of someone who is licensed, which gives them the license to break the law. So just like they made raw milk milk illegal, and only if you have a license can you play in the milk business. And they're going to do that with death. They're just going to make it illegal for you to die. So your mother or your brother can't do you in. That would be like you growing weed that you don't have a license for it. So you can't assist the suicide of your loved one because you don't have a license. Okay, it will only be because it's going to be legal. So only those with a license will be able to whack you. So yeah, they're going to franchise the hell out of it, and you know who's going to profit from it, just like the weed business is going to be the ex-politicians in that, right?
Of course.
Set up by their lawyer friend.
Of course.
So no, it's great. I mean, they have it already franchised in where is it, Holland or somewhere? In Switzerland, for sure. So you'll get you'll start once it gets competitive, right? You'll get the specials. Tuesday special. Why wait till Friday night to get whacked? We can whack you Tuesday at 3 p.m. We got some openings. Come on down. Bring a granny down. We get you a free hamburger while you wait. Come on. It's a good deal. It's a wonderful day to die. The sun's out. Bring granny down.
Yeah, you can make it a family affair.
Well, yeah, 2 for 1, 3 for 1. It's going to get competitive.
Clear the whole family out.
Well, there's a lot of baby boomers got to get out of here somehow, right?
There's a lot of us.
Yeah, so it's going to be big business, man. I should see about getting a franchise for that.
Actually, I was thinking maybe if I open one up, I could call it Vinny's Vapor Vacations. How's that sound?
Well, that's probably a good way to go. Did you say vaporized?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably better than
Vapor
Yeah.
Vacations. And you just go in the room and you just don't come out again.
Hey, where's Billy? You seen Billy lately?
Yeah.
Hey, Billy was feeling a little rough, man. He went down to Vinny's, got himself a vaporized vacation, man.
Yeah. Imagine the kind of marketing you could do with that kind of concept. Hey, you're an ad man. Hey, it's probably rattling around in your head right now.
Well, yeah, that's why I used to love SCTV so much. They had the old Jewish guy they were selling crap, right? He would sell nails and stuff, right? You sell anything, right? We got 3-inch nails. We got a finishing nail. Come on down. We got a big sale on nails, right?
Yeah,
And,
those guys
and,
certainly
and,
do sell anything.
and I love that. You know, I don't know if you ever watched SCTV or not, but Ed and Edna's
Yeah, I've seen it.
Organ Emporium. I used to love that. Right? Come on
Right,
down to
right.
Ed and Edna's Organ Emporium today. Only get a free budgie. You know, we got a whole truckload of budgies. Come on down, get an organ, get a budgie. You know, come on over to Vinny's, get vaporized today, Tuesday, free pizza day with every vaporized friend. You know, it's wonderful, and it's absolutely so freaking bizarre. You know,
Yeah, and it is. I could also, in my business, I can set up a side room and call that Vinny's Vaccinations.
vaccinations and vaporization. It all,
Yeah,
you know.
that's getting to be a pretty long title. That's going to be a big sign, Ron.
It's a big town.
It's a big town. There's lots to do, so you got to have a big sign, flashing lights and everything on it.
Have a big
Just
sign.
like Vegas, Vegas. How's that? Vinny's Vegas Vaccination Vegetarian Vapor Ventilation Vernacular.
So it's like V-ville, man. You know,
VVV.
V
for victory, Ron.
V for Vinny and V for victory, and all that kind of good stuff. I got to put this in the chat. I have to do a show tonight at 6 with Barry Prince out in the West Coast, and it's I'm gonna put the link in there. It's called Shake and Wake Radio. .com.
Shake and Wake. I like that.
Yeah. And I went there last night, and they were playing old Bill Cooper in that, right? And some of these hosts I recognize, and some I don't. But it looks interesting. So Barry Prince, he's been at their. I want to talk to him. He's been at their county. He's in Terrace, BC. He's been at the council, I think, 3 times, and he's doing better than me because I don't get my picture in the paper here. But I want to see if he actually gets that council to engage in conversation with them, because you can't get them here to engage in anything. They just sit there like deer caught in the headlights and say, thank you, and then goodbye. And please don't ever come back again. Oh, look at this. Vinny has to be Ron's new co-host, somebody says in the chat. Look at this shit, eh? Oops, I said the word again. So we're going to do that at 6 o'clock tonight.
And that's
our time.
Is that on some network, Ron, or what?
Yeah, it's called not Shake and Bake. What's it called? Shake and Wake.
Shake and Wake Radio, is that like on a network, though, or is that an individual show?
No, they have a network running.
AM network?
Yeah, if you just punch in Shake and Wake Radio, they have quite a few hosts on there.
It's an AM network. Oh.
No, it's online, right? It's the same as this.
Oh, okay.
But it's out of Florida.
It's out of
Florida.
Is it Shake and Wake Radio is the network?
Yeah, it's the
show.
No, the show is it's Barry Prince's show, right? I think that's just the title of it. He maybe has some tag name there, but it's let me see. We got a couple minutes here. Shake and Wake Radio Network, where the truth is all that matters, and the truth will make you free. Yeah, he's, I don't know how long he's been on there. I think he was on my show once. Nice guy, and he's older than me, so that's even better, right? He's exactly 1 month older than me.
So he's like 148 years old, Ron?
Yeah. So I think his logo is going to come up here in 1/2 second. I think. And The Big Puzzle, that's what it's called. The Big Puzzle with Barry Prince, Sunday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on
Big puzzle.
shakeandwakeradio.com. So I'm going to be doing that at 6 o'clock tonight, and I'm looking forward to it because he's a really down-to-earth guy, and he's been banging away at the local council, and I think he's been beaten on about fluoride or something. But I'm just interested to see how he's making out there and how the rest of the town is working with him or not working with him or whatever. But it should be interesting. It'll be fun anyways. So that's it. 6 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Shake and Wake Radio. Shake and Wake. Yeah, Shake and Wake Radio Network. Out of Florida. On air from the Sunshine State of Florida.
It's 6 o'clock Eastern, right?
Yep. No Disinfo Pro Freedom True Media Radio Network. Although they do have Walter Weiss on here, Weiss, who I do believe is a disinfo agent, but they may have not caught on to that yet because you really got to dig into that guy deep. To dig that out, No
matter where you go, there they are, Ron.
But I got to give him credit. I watched a lot of his stuff, and it's pretty damned accurate. But when I found out that after he basically went broke, and he was a professor of zoology or whatever, or anthropology, where these guys come from, and once you see who he's hooked up with, the Royal Society and that, now you kind of go, geez, Walter, what happened there? But there's still, the information's pretty damned accurate. So I don't have too much of a problem with it. Just everybody always has to be aware of what they're looking at, and it's and there's that Sheila Zielinski. I don't know if you ever heard of her before or not. She got a hold of me. She wrote a book or something. I never did get back to her on that. She's from BC too. We'll just do this at 6 and see what happens and see if we can have some fun. But Vinny, I really want to thank you for calling in. I hope the missus isn't too upset. You went out there with good intentions, right?
I did, Ron.
Yeah.
You know me.
Yes.
I have good intentions all the time, but somehow they get disrupted.
Yeah, in the old days, you could go out and pick a flower and take it to the wife, and now you always got to be looking over your shoulder for that guy that's going to come and tap you on the shoulder and say, "Hi, what are you doing? Picking flowers?" "Well, I'm about to shit upon you, my friend. Get in the car." And,
it's a form of flower phobia, Ron.
It could be.
Yeah, I can't even look at a flower now, and I break out into a sweat, man.
I would think so, yeah.
Yeah.
I would think so.
But the missus, though, she still wants them, so every time I give her a bundle, I'm sweating like a bugger.
Yeah, well, she just thinks you're hot for her, that's all. She's going, man, I got Vinny sweating again, man, this is great.
Well, part of it is that, too, Ron, yeah, admittedly. I actually, come to think of it, I usually do sweat when I talk to Mrs. Vinny.
Yeah. Well, that's good. That means you're paying attention.
Yeah. Hey, Ron, you didn't go to high school, right? You dropped out in grade 11 or something like that?
1 month of grade 11, I had to get out while I still had my mind.
So in other words, you went to, instead of going to high school, you went to low school.
Well, I went to what they call high school, but and I was I didn't have a hard time getting good marks. I just got worried about my mind being taken, and instead of the hasta la vista, boys. And I find most dropouts seem to be more intelligent than the ones that went to university. And
they got more street smarts, eh, Ron?
Well, they still have the capacity to think. Once people have been through university, man, they're pretty well programmed. Anyways, I hear music, Vinny. I want to thank you so very, very much. Say hi to the missus. And we're going to be, like I said, on
You're welcome, Ron.
Shake and Awake Radio, 6 o'clock tonight. Barry Prince. Take care, Vinny. And we'll see you back here on UCY.TV next 7 days. So hopefully you guys can jump in on Shake and Awake Radio.
Network tonight at 6 p.m. Take care, everybody. We're out of here.